Closing your eyes. And just being as you are. Nothing to do here, nothing to change. You are not trying to meditate or trying to be still or silent. Just be as you are. Tune into the energy field that is here as your experience. You become aware, most likely, of the body, the sensations of the body and the sensation of gravity, of pressure on the seat beneath you, maybe the warmth in your hands, maybe the cold, maybe the skin as it touches the air, maybe the breath. Just allowing this, being aware of this, just an energy field of texture, sensation. And you may become aware of thoughts, thought activity, like a stream, perhaps in the background or perhaps in the foreground. Thoughts moving, running along, some slower than others, some faster, some you catch, some you don't. Nothing you need to do, just be aware of this movement of thought, this activity of thought. And perhaps you become aware of a feeling energy. You may call it emotion. Just being aware, perhaps it is static, perhaps it changes and moves. Just become aware. You may be aware of a memory that bubbles up, a thought about the past, something that troubles you, or a thought about the future, something that you hope for or strive for, or something that you fear. Just allowing everything to be here. This is the content of your experience. Thought activity, which is based in the realm or dimension of time. Feeling activity, feeling, emotion activity, and sensation activity. All appearing in the dimension of time and space. This is the content of your experience. You may become aware that this content is somehow always here, somehow always in the foreground. Your whole life, perhaps, is led, informed by this content. It's always here, like a movie playing itself out. And you can choose to focus on different parts of it, different aspects of it. But somehow it's always here. And perhaps you become aware or recognize that this content is actually ever changing. It's not static. All thoughts appear, disappear, and new thoughts appear. All sensations appear, disappear, and new sensations appear. All feelings appear, disappear, and new feelings arise. This whole phenomenal display of the content of your experience is constantly changing. It's never static, although it appears to be always here as the content of your experience. So for many people, and perhaps for us, for much of our lives, this content is all we know, all we focus on. Even meditation becomes an attempt to change the content, to get rid of the content of our experience, to replace it with what we might call silence or stillness or nothingness. And recognize how this attempt is often futile, temporary. It's not the real solution. It's not the answer to true freedom. And now, become aware of how awareness, when it is focused on the content, whether it's a sensation, a thought, a feeling, or focused on silence or emptiness or nothingness, just become aware how awareness has actually become limited, focused in on the content of its experience, and therefore lost in the content of experience. And see if it's possible to undo, to soften any attempt to focus on the content of your experience. We could say this is allowing awareness to fall open It's an inner softening of awareness, falling open into itself as open awareness. Become aware of awareness itself without focusing in. This is an unfocusing, softening the gaze upon awareness itself, the space within which all content appears and disappears, the constantly changing, flickering scenery taking place, appearing, disappearing, flickering in and out of view within open, unbounded, unlimited space. Awareness itself without boundary. You can use awareness to examine awareness. Does this awareness, this open awareness, have any boundary to it? Does it have an edge to it? Can you find its beginning or its end? Or is it simply just here as a fact, the fact of awareness, unfocused, unlimited, not locked into content, neither denying content. It's the backdrop. The backdrop is always here. And here we are inviting the backdrop to come into the foreground. That's what awareness of awareness is. It comes into the foreground, it comes into view. It's a view without content, and yet content appears in this. But when awareness is aware of awareness, the content is like a flickering image on the screen. You can choose to focus in on it if that's intelligent, if that's required to navigate the human experience. When there's no need for that navigation, when it's not an intelligent focusing on content, then awareness can rest as itself. So here there is no striving to maintain a position of silence or emptiness. It is simply seeing what is here, seeing with a soft gaze. The simplicity, the directness, of awareness itself, just unbounded. When we allow or practice, initially we need to practice for this recognition to take place. This fact of awareness, this awareness of awareness, then it starts to infuse the content of your experience. And the content becomes less troublesome, it becomes lighter. It becomes recognized as a phenomenal display that, as with all phenomenal displays, is subject to birth and death. It arises and it falls away, just like the waves on the ocean, just like the clouds in the sky. Awareness is the sky. Taking an in-breath and out-breath. And again, opening your eyes when you're ready.